so we know what the value of your customer is. Then once you understand this, then you can literally, in simple terms, print money, because you know it costs X to acquire, yet your customer value or lifetime value is also here.
All right, welcome back to the Mac Podcast, where we talk about everything in entrepreneurship, business, and of course, real estate. We always try to challenge the conventional thinking and try to think a little bit outside the box and try not to unfollow the herd. But today we are going to specifically talking about business. And I met this guy at a business conference, I think it's the largest business conference in the world. The 10X conference at Grant Cardone a few years back. We were on, we were in a sunny part of outside and probably having a drink. And I met this individual who he is big in Norwich, London, where he is from. So he's out of the country from the States, but really good guy within mindset and business. And we're going to dive deep on how he scales companies and how he changes the mindsets of these companies and how he can help coach companies and just basically knock it out of the park with that. So, Matt Cox, appreciate you having me on, dude.
Thank you. Good to see you, Mark. It's been a long time. Was it 2022 that we hooked up at 10X in Miami?
Yes, it was in Miami, 2022. It was pretty nice weather when we were having a drink on the by the pool there. And I didn't know we were going to have as good a conversation as we did. And here we are. We're back.
Did, yes. It was good. It was a good conference. Very much enjoyed it. So, yeah, and it was a pleasure to meet you. So,
yeah,
a few years on, being on here with you and actually seeing how well that you're doing and how much that you've put together since we've seen you. So, yeah, it's good.
No,
it's good
and I appreciate that. And I see you hustling as well, right from London. And, I'm inspired to see that this goes on everywhere. And it just shows that a power of a brand too, on how you can keep connected with people and just see how they're doing. You're another entrepreneur. I think you've always been an entrepreneur and a mindset. So yeah, no, man, dude, explain to me a little bit what you do. Like what do you do and what's your business, really entail within Cox Capital?
So I've got multiple businesses. The business that I'm pushing the most at the moment is Cox Capital. Cox Capital. So I'm a commercial expert. I've got a contract law degree I'm an expert in contract law. I've been in the industry and business for a long time, and Cox Capital really is about. I'm passionate about helping people. I spent the last few years developing Cox Capital behind the scenes, so that putting all of my knowledge and everything that I know about growing and scaling companies, not just sales, not just bringing in sales, but also the cost optimization of a business, how a business runs from fulfillment side of things, from taking deliveries through stores, through all of the various different administration processes through a business to the sales side of it, and also customer service, which is a big part, and understanding how to rapport with your clients and how to ensure that you can grow and scale it and deliver a service over and above what anybody else can give out there. So Cox Capital, I took all my knowledge. I actually went round the houses, to be honest, because I was like, right, I've got all this knowledge and I don't know what to do with it. How do I deliver it and how do I do it? And I sort of started a couple of years ago and I was like, that's not right. I scrapped it and I've spent a long time going, shit, right, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? And how can I deliver it in a useful manner to other companies? So we spent a long time getting the foundations and like, if you put it into real estate, the most important part of a building is a foundation. So we spent a lot of time building the foundations of the company to ensure that every aspect of growing and scaling a business, no matter what the business is, we can go in and look at various different areas and help companies grow and scale. So
wow.
we look at the sales aspect of it. We also look at the internal cost optimization. I've built a system that I've worked on for a long time now. So we've got an internal CRM system. So when we're running if you've got a company that runs external sales teams, so if you've got on the say foot soldiers, door knockers, your typical like window sales type people, not knocking on the doors, a bit of a Zig Ziglar type style.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, it is a Grant Cardone. Yeah. So the door knockers that go out and press, and also the fulfillment after that. So we tie into this. So I've built a system that enables us to capture what the foot soldiers do as a sales team. And our system is digitalized so that we can work and run paid ads management alongside your sales team, your foot sales team, your cold calling and all of the telesales and everything. It integrates into their systems. And also we run marketing and the paid ad side of it so that we can track from ad through to purchase. Then what I also did, which I spent some time, so I've partnered and integrated into my system as well. I've partnered with a data analytics specialist. So he's an ex-NASA rocket scientist, and I've partnered with him. So he has built the back end for me. So not only do we track every single aspect from knocking on the door through to your ads and all your management, all the way through to purchase and then past purchase, so that we know what the customer does as the lifetime cycle of being on with you. How many times do they buy? What do they buy? What's their purchasing cycles? So that we can get to a point and we know what funnel they've come through, what sales rep they've come through, what telesales call they've come through. We track absolutely everything because data is just critical.
Yeah.
And then we can literally, I'm trying to like shorten it a little bit without going through, the whole runs. But so you get to a point that we know you understand what LTV is, the customer lifetime value is, so that we can, when we're running a business or we're in a business, we can look at what they're doing. We say, right, your customer comes in, your customer purchases X, Y, Z. What is the cost to acquire the customer, through to what is the lifetime value of the customer on any given point in time. So we know what the value of your customer is. Then once you understand this, then you can literally, in simple terms, print money, because it costs X to acquire, yet your customer value or lifetime value is also here. So we say, right, you can spend up to this amount to acquire it. And if so, for example, let's dumb it down a little bit. If your customer lifetime value is 10,000 and it costs you 1,000 to acquire that, how many £1,000 are you going to spend? As many as you friggin' want. Do you know what I mean? So,
what's your budget? Yeah.
You don't need one, because you just spend. You just carry on spending because you know what the profit margin is and what it is. Then you build into this the operational costs and all the fulfillment costs of your business, and then you come out with a value, and you know where your profit margins are. You know what you're doing. You know what it does or what it takes to acquire a customer, along with what works, what doesn't work, because the system and everything we do tracks every aspect of it. So if something's not working, we switch it off. If it is working, we double down on it, and we just plumb everything into what works. So it's a great aspect to do that. And I spent a long time getting that right, so that we know what to do when we go into companies. And from Cox Capital's point of view, I've set it in probably 4 different areas. So we've got sales, we can come in and teach sales. We've got, I actually work with coaches as well. So if there's coaches that come in and do stuff, we can we can tailor our system down, because they don't need everything.
Sure.
But plug it into what they do. And also business growth, so that we can go into businesses typically between, I don't know, to be honest, it doesn't matter with the value, but we look at companies between 3 and 15 million, because they don't have the full strategies and infrastructure that the companies at 100 million do. So $100 million or whatever revenue turnover company hasn't got the 3 million to 15 million don't have that. You can typically, sometimes you can have 2 or 3 people running a £15 million business.
Oh yeah.
So their understanding of all of the various different aspects that work that they don't have that. They don't understand all of that. But they've got a model that works, so we can scale it. So we can just plug in, understand
Sure.
what they do, put a strategy together and help them grow and scale. Then when they get to a point that there's too many sales coming in,
Yep.
we can then help them fulfill with the operational side of it to get them to a point that they can then start scaling again. So it's like a bit of a step process.
Yep. Well, sales is always the main important. If you don't have sales, you can't scale the operations.
Yeah, no money, no business. So
well, I like, yeah.
In a nutshell, that's kind of what we do, and we also work with celebrities and stuff like that. So
Okay.
we work to help with like ex-professionals and celebrities to see where their skill set is, and if they're coming out of their sort of profession, how we can help them then produce a recurring revenue stream for when they've finished their whatever it is they do as a professional, like an ex-professional footballer or whatever it might be, to help them streamline some revenue for their career retirement. So that's something that really excites me. I like that a lot, because generally they don't have like they've been so focused on their sport or whatever it is that they do. And they don't have a lot of guidance on the business and financial aspects and that side of it. So it's really good to help them then progress and build a consistent revenue from retirement of their sport. So,
wow. No, dude, super inspiring. Like I said, I wanted to have you on here because I think you definitely been around and through some of this and navigated some of it, whether it's scaling businesses. I think you were telling me, I think I remember that specifically, of some of the businesses you helped. And you're the Grant Cardone of London that I know. So I I like to always share you as that. What specifically, and I'm just curious, if you're an expert in contract law, what would that mean? What, you know?
So everything, and you're in construction, so you know this in the aspects. So contract law and where it helps, that is everything you do has terms and conditions, everything you let. So if you had a construction contract, you would be set by a set of construction terms and conditions, which will enable the scope of work that you do, the remuneration section of the contract, and understanding the KPIs. Would set the KPIs within the contract. So so the contractor works to certain KPIs, so they perform under the contract, and it's just the legal aspect of tying in all of the commercials and the team structure and the method statements and all of the various different aspects that the contractor generally has to perform under.
So to meet it. No, I think that was a good point. I just wanted to make sure that the listeners understood that, and what it being an expert in contract law. It's, basically outlining everything you're going to do for that company at the end of the day, and because if it's not in there and the expectations aren't met, then someone's not happy.
So somebody's liable for it, and if the clear lines aren't written, then the contractor doesn't understand that he was performed. And this is why a lot of people fall into dispute under contracts, because the lines between the two parties are not clearly defined. So then they fall out. Well, I thought you were doing that. Well, no, I thought you were doing that. So you end up in a dispute, and you have a big bum fight at the end. And you end up in litigation because something wasn't detailed correctly. So I'm a kind of details guy, so we understand everything that needs to be done, and that's where, when I'm helping companies, the cost optimization comes into it, because it's about renegotiation of contracts and various different methods. So you'll know as well as anybody that there's various different things under a business. You might have manpower that you hire in, or staffing that you have. You might have like products and services, machine hire. You might buy machinery, you might lease it out. So it's the terms that you lease it out and the remuneration that comes with it. There's so many different aspects to, depending on what business you're in, how big it is. Simple businesses only have, you might have your rentals, your hires, your various different things. But in construction, like you're in, there's a huge amount of things: tools, high tools, staff, labor. just lots of different things. So
Yeah, scope of work. I mean, we always talk about it as that. I mean, it's just outlining exactly what we're going to do. And if something's missed on there, then change orders come about. And as long as everything's in the contract, then everyone's in agreement. If not, then there's a dispute. So yeah, I like it. What, who is your primary customers for like Cox Capital and like, because I'm a construction, like if I had a construction business, it's like I'm not doing paid sales management. I probably don't, the value lifetime, it doesn't apply to me. I know it does apply, but it's different.
You're project based, aren't you? So
Yeah.
construction is project based. I think there's means and aspects to that. However, larger companies have individual people that they'll bring in, contract specialists, they'll bring in various different labours that work on all the different aspects. So for Cox Capital, that's taken my knowledge from understanding all of that and being in business and working on, I'm used to working on £3-4 billion projects from concept design through to execution, installation, hookup and commissioning, and all sorts of stuff like that. So,
gotcha.
For me, Cox Capital, and I've tailored it to help the smaller businesses. So businesses with typically a product that they sell or a service. You can do it service based, and that's why I said service based. It works very well for coaches, people trying to coach in the industry where they're and it's not just every coach. I like to look at coaching academies, so they have the infrastructure already set up. Okay. It's helping them fulfill their, use their infrastructure that they've got. They've got a course, they've got a structure, they've got trainers, and it's bringing customers to them so that they can concentrate on what they do best, and we can fulfill all of the other stuff so that they can just get on with it, and we fulfill leads to them as a business. But as a business growth, and that's why I said between 3 and 15 million, then businesses that have a product that they sell, and sometimes they don't, you get so sucked into the business that you don't have time to pull yourself away and look at various different strategies of how you can bring in additional revenue and different streams of revenue via various different marketing techniques and tools and stuff like that. So we plug into them, we put our systems into them, and we run some of the marketing strategies and paid ad strategies for them. So
wow. Okay. Yeah, I think I just want to be clear with that. So I mean, if you're in that space, you probably want to get a hold of Matt and at least have a phone call with him or reach out to him on all of that. When you guys are scaling companies, like when you go into a business, I'm just curious, like what do you typically see that's wrong? Like obviously their revenue's not right or their sales aren't right, but like how do you go in and fix that? Like what do you see often that are common problems?
So staff staff is probably the biggest issue, because some of the companies have and not just necessarily directors, but I find that they've been there a long time, they're stuck in their ways, so that they're not up to date with what's actually going on. They're stuck in the past a lot. Sometimes their systems and procedures are not ready to grow. And a lot of companies as well, maybe you don't realize this, but a lot of companies actually aren't online and selling. They're just doing what they're doing. So they're missing a huge amount of revenue by not having a strong online presence, not having a strong online brand, and they're missing a lot of the market from doing that. But they don't understand how to do it, because typically people have set up their business 20 plus years ago, and they just it's a lot of work to keep up to date with everything that's changing and going on. It's not a black box. It isn't as complicated as what you think. But as a small business owner, and you're ticking over doing 3 to 5 million, sometimes they just don't have the time or the expertise within the business to bring it in to scale the company. And they stagnate at a certain level, and they continue to just generate X revenue. But the problem with that I find is new companies come in that do have the know-how, or they employ the know-how to do that, and these companies get left behind, and that's when they end up disappearing and falling off the face of the earth. So
how did you like get in? How do you know so much about business, and how did you learn all that? Like, what's your story? What's your background into getting up to this point? Like, obviously you got credibility to doing it now and experience. Where did you start in this journey?
I don't know. I guess so. Where I started my career in picking and packing goods in the stores, and just
Really?
just yeah, sure. So I worked in the stores, and I worked my way up, and which is why I understand the full process of a business, because I started at the bottom. I worked picking and packing goods, and then I just worked my way up through procurement, through commercial, into contracts,
Okay.
and major capital projects, and worked my way up to the top, and then decided that this is something that I want to do on my own because I get it. But if I'm honest, I'm just obsessed with business and progression and developing myself, and it's just been a core desire that I personally have to do. And I think, if I'm honest, it probably comes from my dad a little bit, because I wanted to. You could just take a step back. Sorry. My dad was always into trying to find something online. Back 15, 20 years ago, when all this online stuff come on, and I
Yeah.
sort of dipped in and out with him and started helping him. And he was, yeah, you've got to get this. This is all the stuff, and you're like, yeah, whatever, Dad. and
Yeah.
and started to get into it, and then cut a long story short, he passed away,
Okay.
and it made me a little bit obsessed with fulfilling what he wanted to start. If that makes sense. So I
Yeah.
wanted to fulfill. He didn't get that success, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted
Mm,
to make it work, and I've just had that burning desire to do it. And then as you grow up, and I've got two kids and stuff now, it's because I want to provide something for my family and my children, and provide for them. So
yeah, dude.
it's in here. It's deep within.
Right. What do you think leads to that desire of mindset? Like, how did you get different than dad? I always get asked that same question, and because my dad's very much just a um growing a business seemed like he was going to get more problems by doing that, because you have more people involved and more business, there's potential more problems, right? But
Of course,
you're solving big problems. So how did you acquire that mindset, or how do you think you did?
I think it's been developed over years, to be honest with you. It's not something that I just woke up with. I think it's just developed over years, and I think my passion to 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 do better has continued to fulfill me getting better. And I'm a bit like, if I don't understand something, I need to understand it. I'm very much a control freak.
Mm,
And I need to understand everything. And then once I understand it, it's fine. You can fulfill it. And I'm very much, and I had this conversation with somebody before, and they said, well, you can't do everything. I said, yeah, I get that. You can't do everything. I said, but how do I know if the person that's working for me is doing it right if I don't know how to do it?
yeah.
I said, in the offset, I need to do it. And I've spent a long time just trying to understand. You don't need to be a perfectionist on everything, but I need to understand everything. I need to understand the mechanics of everything. So I was driven to learn everything myself and do it all myself, so that I can become the best at what I do. And then, your only competition is you, isn't it? So
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a really good way to put it, because I think most people try to break their own mindset, and they get stuck with, this is going to go wrong, or I don't understand, or they end up going forward and they don't understand.
yeah,
And then mistakes happen, and they don't understand what's going on in the business because you've never done it. It's like you and I going to buy an airliner. Well, we don't know the first thing about how to fuel the jets and how to park them efficiently. We're reliant on other people to know that stuff. And so, I think it is true though. Like if you understand how it works, whether it's picking and packing, whatever it is, like, right, like you knew right from the bottom of that business how it was efficient all the way to the top. Um, you sure have a better understanding how to grow that business and how it can be better optimized.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like I said, I think it's just the type of person I am. I'm obsessed with being better and making myself better.
Yeah.
I don't come from money. I don't come from, a family that's had money or anything like that. I come from a broken family. We didn't have much growing up. I'm not saying it was bad or anything like that, but we didn't
Yeah.
have too much. And I just don't want that for my kids. And I want to be the best that I can. And I want to leave a legacy for my children so that one, they understand it, and two, they have a better life than I did. It's just become an obsession. I
Yeah.
think you become obsessed with it more than anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The mindset thing behind everything, I think we
Mike?
it's not talked about enough on scaling. Like, you have to have a mindset to scale a company or want to scale a company, because if you don't have the mindset, you're not going to be able to do anything further in life. And most people think like the mindset just comes to you as you grow a company naturally. And it's like, not
Yeah.
really. I mean, where are you headed? You got to have a clear path. Clarity brings vision.
I think, I think without this is my purpose in life. I've got other my wife, my kids, my children are my purpose, but my purpose in life is to do this. So without a purpose, you're lost.
Yeah.
What's the other choice? Sit there and drink beer on a weekend and just get smashed or do nothing?
Yeah.
But this is my focus. This is I'm challenging myself to be better than I am or I was yesterday. So
Yeah.
every day challenge, and like you said, it is not easy. It's not easy. I don't wake up every day and go, fuck yay, I need to get up and do this. It's like some days are tough. Life throws all sorts of shit at you, and things are tough. Stuff happens. And some days you just want to give up and throw the towel in. I've been there multiple times where I thought, you know what, fuck, I've had enough of this. I can't do this shit anymore. But
Yeah.
you dust yourself off. You get all these problems.
Yeah.
It's not without its problems. So you get all these problems, but you just have to carry on. I think one of the things that I say a lot: you do not fail until you quit. So if you don't quit, you're not going to fail. It might take you 5 years, 10 years, 15 years to get there, but if you're persistent and consistent in everything you do, and you try and discipline yourself as much as you can,
Yeah.
you will get there. There's lots of different stories and people out there, so many cool stories and people that have been through hell and back, but they didn't give up. It's when you give up that your life turns sour. If you don't give up, then you'll get through it,
Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point in my life, and probably the way you see things a little bit is, I think problems are just a challenge of my day, right? Like, yeah, they can stack up to be too much, but I don't know. I actually find enjoyment into solving them at this point in my life. And yeah, quitting isn't the word. It's just how do we get through, and how do we solve it?
Yeah, definitely. I see you. You had is it your kids that you had on your podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. I put them on the podcast, and she's quirky, but she has general understanding.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my, my kids sometimes, my lad, we were coming home and he was like, Dad, stop giving me lectures. I listen to you all the time. I don't need to hear it anymore. Just let
Yeah.
let me play on the PlayStation, please.
Yeah. In my daughter, I mean, she's just she's quirky, and I teach them about real estate and business and marketing and branding, and I know you're doing a lot in branding, and your kids probably see them on their cell phone or whatever, at this point. And so I just want them to get exposed to that, and get exposed to things that I think every kid should at a younger age than they do. Instead of consuming all the content, maybe try to produce some of the content and create a name for themselves at an earlier age. It's easier than when you get older, and then you're trying to shoot reels and do all this stuff at an older age. It's like, and let's just say, like, Grant Cardone is a theme here. That guy's doing 300 pieces of content a freaking week. And he's sitting in front of a camera 20 hours a week, just shooting film, shooting content, shooting this, shooting that, putting out a brand, putting out a message, marketing himself, doing all these different things. And I see a lot of successful people that are doing that, within the States. And I don't know how often it happens in London, but I'm sure there's people doing it over there.
Yeah, there is. It's getting more and more of a thing. And it is tough, it's tough. I mean, I don't know when you're filming stuff and do it's the amount of outtakes that I've got, which I sit there and laugh at sometimes because I'm like swearing at myself when I've done the take 32 times, and every time the more angry you get at the take, the more you're like, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They always set me down and they're like, all right, let's shoot 15 reels. It's like, oh, but it's always good when they're done, and it does help people. People reach out, they'll, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this really helped me, appreciate it. That's the self gratification. It
Yes.
helps. Yeah. Purpose and fulfillment. And then, hey, once in a while you even get a customer from there that says, hey, I liked your email, or I liked your podcast, or whatever it is. I'm on it and exposing it. And it's not necessarily for the oldest generation, but it's for the generation coming up. This is where they consume.
It is good, and it does feel good when you do help people, and they're grateful for what you do. Let's be clear, this is not for everybody.
No.
It's some people are happy in their life and doing what they're doing and what it is, and good on them. You have to enjoy the process, and I think that's one of the things I'm trying to teach myself more, is actually enjoying every day in the process of what I'm doing instead of the end result. I think when you're chasing the end result, you kind of get there and you're like, man. But if I'm starting to enjoy every aspect of what I'm doing. And like I said, it's not for everybody. If it's not for you, then fair enough. I'm not you're not trying to take over the world or anything. All we're trying to do is actually help people that are in a position where they want to achieve something themselves. And if I can do something to help them, then great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah, you're in the position of helping companies, and you're pushing a brand as well. I can see that clearly. And I think, are you a coach? I don't know that. Do you do some coaching, like, or is it pure business coaching? Is that how they'd hire you within, Matt?
Yeah, it's coaching within that aspect. So anything that I can help with within the business arena, then I will help do that.
Got it. Okay.
And I do enjoy that 100%.
Just as some curiosity, what do you invest in over there? Are you just invested in any of these businesses that you help scale, or are you a partner, or is it just a fee base?
I do have a partnership model. So if the business is right, so it's not right for everybody.
Okay.
If it's not right for me, then I won't take it. But if the business is right and the directors or the person that I'm working with are right, then I like to go in a partnership basis so that we can embed with them and grow and scale with them. So yes, that is something that I do, and I actually prefer that, to be honest, because sometimes when people pay fees, they're not dedicated to what they do.
Yeah.
Whereas when you actually get in bed with somebody as such, they're more dedicated to make it a success and scale. So I prefer that myself. Fee based is good, but I like to have a mix of fee based, subscription based, and partnership based businesses. But I am looking to, if I'm honest, grow and scale the partnership side of it more.
Got it. Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits to that, and having multiple businesses and multiple arenas, because a lot of it cross refers to each other. So you can then start helping company to company.
Yeah, kind of like almost a holding I imagine within a holding company, you kind of have all these entities, but I think the alignment of interest for you are getting in bed with them, but the alignment now is we're not just charging a fee and you're listening to me. We're doing this together, and just I think there's something to say about that. And equity is everything at the end of the day. What do you see? Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
A network, as well as anybody. You're probably in the higher rate businesses, referrals are far more important than trying to knock on the door and sell to somebody.
Yeah.
You're going to listen there for like, hey, Mark, I've worked with Mark. Mark does this X, Y, Z. He's delivered every time to me, and he's been outstanding with everything that he do. Then I'm going to go, right, I need to talk to Mark, because Mark's clearly if you're looking for that kind of service, then that's what you're going to do. So referrals are key.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And network and referrals definitely will grow a business. And I had where do you see yourself, Matt, like 10 years from now? Where are you going? Are you continuing to scale or continue to build a holding company? Curious.
Definitely scaling. I'm only at the tip at the minute. Next year and in the years to come, I'm going to shake it up a lot. And I'm not as known as, not that I want to be known, but I want to get out there, and I do want to blow my company up now. So the foundations are built, everything's set. I'm ready to just scale the hell out of my business, and we'll be knocking on Grant's door soon.
Ooh, look at that. I can't wait to see that. We'll have a shakedown in Miami, or maybe in your arena. I'll have a reason to come to London.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, definitely. Are you on the flip side? Are you going to 10X this year or next year?
I don't know. Timing wise right now, it's like I've been doing all this development work, and we're a seasonal where we live because there's a winter. I think you said you're in winter right now too. And we do a lot of development work over the course of winter. So then during the season of building, we can build as fast as possible, of course. So timing wise, when is his? Do you know when is the 10X conference this year?
I'm not too sure yet. I haven't. I've been a bit out of touch because this last year I've just been purely focused. I haven't done any networking. I haven't been anywhere. I've just been focused. I've been purely focusing on ensuring that every aspect of my business is as bulletproof as it can be, and that I'm ready now to grow and scale at a significant rate. So
I didn't go last year, but I don't know. We'll probably won't make it this year. We've been pretty focused on scaling as well for ourselves. It's just I'm doing the holding company model, and I've been just trying to roll up a lot of real estate that just keep trying to put things in the portfolio and close deals as I'm able. So good opportunity right now.
Yeah, definitely.
With the
how do you find construction at the minute and business, that side of things? So you've got property and things like this that you lease and do currently?
Yeah. How did I get into construction then, and then the businesses, and then how into real estate?
Yeah, no. How do you find it? There's something I've never got into is investment in properties and real estate and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, I think so. Like my story goes is that I was just a concrete guy, and for the first 6 years of my career, I created Mac Construction because my dad and I we had vision alignment issues on me taking his company over. So I started my own company, did concrete work, and basically I was running it all myself. So I kind of had a lot of problems as a growing business owner, and I kept accumulating people, like 2 or 3 people every year. And then I ended up getting up to like, I don't know, 15 people, and they were all reliant on me. Well, I ended up in the hospital because I didn't really know how to run a business. Like I didn't know like how to keep people accountable. I knew how to give tasks, and then people just said, "Oh, I'm done with that. Here, what's next?" You know what I mean? So I didn't really have a business, and I was getting burnt out, probably because I just couldn't handle everything. And then, so from me ending up in the hospital is really where I said, okay, I need to hire managers, like people that can manage these people and be accountable to revenue and tasks and try to get the project done instead of just everything on me. And then by doing that, I also figured out how does the wealthy get super wealthy? Like, what are they doing? And you end up finding out in the States, at least the real estate laws here, I could invest in real estate, build real estate because I was a construction guy, and I can end up holding it long term. Instead of just building for other people for them to hold it as investments, I could build it and hold it myself and try to figure that out. So I kind of turned into a real estate developer that way. It was kind of another vertical for a construction company. And And then I just started buying and building and holding. And
Okay.
that's my path forward. That's what I want to keep doing.
Perfect fit, really.
Yeah, it was. And it's just a tax reason really up front, because as you're building these companies and if you're making revenue, I can wipe out a lot of my taxes through the real estate.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So then I'm not paying taxes. So I actually keep more money into the businesses and can operate more, just on a better
Yeah,
way. So
yeah.
yeah, that's where I found out. And you have any, I got a question for you. I got a couple of questions here as we wrap up. What's one of your biggest fears?
My biggest fears, failing.
Yeah.
I, yeah, I guess my biggest fear is being a failure to my family, not to anybody else, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So not necessarily, I don't want to fail myself and let myself down, but more importantly, I don't ever want to fail to my family, because they look up to you and you're there to guide them and provide for them and be the person that you are. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my biggest fear really, is not succeeding on that, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Uh, One of my last questions, then we'll figure out how people can figure out how to get a hold of you and what platforms you're on. What doesn't follow the herd mean to you?
Don't follow the herd. Don't follow the herd. To me, that means, be yourself. Stop trying to copy everybody else. Stop trying to be a sheep.
Mm.
Everybody's unique, and you have your own personal. You're your own person. You have your own unique specialties. So use them. Stop trying to be somebody else, because you're not somebody else. There's only one of you. Go out and be that person and figure out what it is in here. Everyone has a skill. Everyone has a desire, and everybody. You just need to figure out what that is, and then be passionate about it, because it will fulfill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
won't
love it, man. I love it.
you won't be fulfilled trying to be somebody else.
No.
They're not. Yeah.
I love that. That's a good one. Yeah. So where are you all on? What social media? How do we figure out how to get a hold of you if I have a business to scale and coaching?
So you can get hold of me on my Instagram, which is mattcox_official. Obviously, we've got a website, mcoxcapital.com, and we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and various different things. But the two cool parts is hook us up on Instagram, drop me a DM or shoot over. Take a look at my website. It will give you a bit more of an in-depth insight to who I am and what we do.
Dude, that's awesome. Hey, I appreciate you having you on, Matt. This has been it's been a pleasure, dude. We'll have to do a follow-up to this, because I was like, I don't have too many friends in London, but I think it would be fun to catch up again.
Why don't whenever you head over here, come and jump on my podcast and we'll do one live together.
Let's do it. No, it's down.
Yeah,
it's a done deal.
And to see how you've been progressing is great. It's great to see that, and I love how you're doing and what you're doing. It's good. It's good to see.
Dude, I appreciate you. Yeah, no, it's been a fun journey. I'm looking forward to 24, and I know you are.
Yeah,
and we'll follow up and see how we're crushing it in 24 on the some year from now or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Take care, and I hope you smash it, Mark.
All right. Thanks, buddy.